Discoveries like those made by coincidence often influence the course of drug development in the coming years.
They brought about a phenomenal change in the world of medicine. One of such drugs is warfarin.
Warfarin is one of the most commonly prescribed drugs in the world.
In the early 1920s, there was an outbreak of cattle disease in the northern United States and Canada. The cattle were hemorrhaging after minor procedures and sometimes they bled out spontaneously. In 1921, Frank Scofield, a Canadian veterinary pathologist, determined that those cattle were ingesting a moldy silage which contained sweet clover and hence it acted like a potent anticoagulant in them.
In the winter of 1933, one of the farmers named Ed Carlson went to the University of Wisconsin in search of help with the truck containing dead cow and sweet clover. Carl Perlink and his lab of chemists who were working over there set out to isolate and characterize the hemorrhagic agent.
5 years later, Link's student Harold Campbell recovered about 6 mg of crystallized anticoagulant, and later Mark Sturman initiated a large-scale production and isolated about 1.8 gram of crystallized anticoagulant. The structure and the identity of the crystal was a mystery until 1940. Later, as the compound underwent degradative studies and was refined and purified, it was called to be dicumarol.
The first drug in the class to be widely commercialized was dicumarol itself, patented in 1941 and later used as a pharmaceutical. Carling kept working on anticoagulants and resulted in warfarin in 1948.
Warfarin was first registered in US as a rodenticide in year 1948. In 1951, an army inductee attempted suicide with multiple doses of warfarin but got treated immediately after he was given vitamin K injections. After that, the studies about warfarin as an anticoagulant began.
An early recipient for this drug was US President Eisenhower, who was prescribed this drug after having a heart attack in 1955.
Dicumarol is the product of plant molecule coumarin. Coumarin is responsible for the original common name sweet clover, named after its sweet smell and not for its bitter taste. Coumarin itself does not influence clotting.
Various fungi metabolize coumarins to 4-hydroxycoumarins and further to dicumarol, which shows anticoagulant action. The damaged leaves attacked by the fungi showed the presence of dicumarol, and hence it can be considered as a fermented product and a mycotoxin.
Warfarin consists of a racemic mixture of active enantiomeric forms R and S. The S form is 2 to 5 times more potent than the R form in terms of the anticoagulant effect.
Warfarin works by inhibiting vitamin K synthesis in the liver. Vitamin K is essential for formation of blood clots as it indirectly helps in activation of clotting factors 2, 7, 9 and 10 and proteins like C and S.
Warfarin is a competitive inhibitor to the enzyme vitamin K reductase. It binds to the enzymes in the liver cell and inhibits its activity. It results in the decreased production of reduced form of vitamin K, which is important for the activation of enzymes, and impairs the conversion of glutamic acid to gamma carboxyglutamic acid.
Decrease in the concentration of gamma carboxyglutamic acid suppresses the clotting factors that are important in the formation of fibrin mesh, and hence the clots are not formed.
Warfarin is an anticoagulant used in deep vein thrombosis, atrial fibrillation, stroke and pulmonary embolism.
Warfarin is also used in antiphospholipid syndrome. It is occasionally used after heart attacks, but it is less effective at preventing new thrombosis in coronary arteries.
It can be used to treat people following ischemic strokes due to atrial fibrillation.
It takes several days for warfarin to reach the therapeutic effect. This long half-life means that it remains effective until stopped.
Warfarin, although slower in action than heparin, has a lot many advantages such as oral administration and also long plasma TF because of its plasma protein binding.
Warfarin has a specific known antidote, vitamin K, while most of the marketed coagulants do not. Warfarin is comparatively cheaper.
Warfarin has turbulent pharmacokinetics, and this unpredictability can be dangerous. It has no antidote except vitamin K. It has no fixed dosage amount. It has several interactions with foodstuffs and drugs. Hence, in a treatment, we have to follow several dietary restrictions.
The only common side effect of warfarin is bleeding. The most severe ones are those involving the brain and the spinal cord.
Warfarin interactions with several foodstuffs and drugs may enhance or reduce its effect. Hence, metabolism of warfarin varies differently in different patients.
Small deposits of cholesterol causing blood blockages in blood vessels in feet, which may cause bluish purple color and may be painful.
Warfarin, if taken for more than a year, could increase the risk of osteoporosis by 60%.
When taken with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, it can cause gastrointestinal bleeding. Highly protein-bound drugs can displace warfarin from the serum albumin.
Warfarin necrosis is a rare but a serious condition which occurs in protein C deficient patients.
Many commonly used antibiotics will greatly increase the effect of warfarin. Food that contains large quantities of vitamin K1 will reduce its effect. Thyroid activity influences warfarin dosing requirement.
In some countries, other coumarins are used which offer the same efficacy as warfarin but with no need of monitoring.
Warfarin is often compared to as NOACs. Now, what exactly are NOACs? NOACs are nothing but non-vitamin K antagonist oral anticoagulants because they are thrombin and factor 10A inhibitors.
It has a more predictable pharmacokinetics, a fixed dosage form, and less monitoring of the patient.
Less drug-drug interactions and dietary restrictions, but the downside is they are expensive.
We conclude that the serendipitous invention of warfarin has proven really useful, and even though it has several pros and cons, it will continue to help the world of medicine.